Where are we going this evening?
Oh, my goodness, Jermaine, I'm so excited. Wow, listeners, thank you for joining in. Tonight, we're going to talk about Take It Back, reclaiming our confidence and our creativity in the workplace. And Jermaine, so many of us have issues or challenges when it comes to our confidence. And so I want to encourage those listeners tonight that without our confidence, our competence will only get us so far. And so this confidence thing, it happens to eventually all of us at some point, whether it's something or someone or an event that robs us or tries to rob us of our confidence. Mm-hmm. And so that could come in the form, Jermaine, of, a lack of promotion, a missed opportunity, we mess up, receive tough feedback, or we even experience a setback in the workplace. And so if it's bad enough, and I'm sure you, like myself and those who are listening, have experienced a setback or an event at one time in our career where we began to second guess and kind of question our confidence. And so it shatters us. It cracks our vision. And we began to really question, am I created for this job? Do I have the skills necessary to perform this job? And so our confidence bears the truth of what we really believe about ourselves. Have you ever experienced, that thing in the workplace, Jermaine, where your confidence is, again, at war with the event that has happened or you're faced with at work?
Right, uh-huh.
And so the thing is, when we do that, and if we lose our confidence, the question is that I know the WOW listeners are burning to hear about is, how then do we get it back?
Right. How do we get it back?
How do we get it back? And so one thing I want to share is that most often our confidence we suffer for those individuals who are listening out there. When you have a deep strength or a true affinity for the work that you do, and you have this unfaltering motivation, and you work tirelessly trying to reach your goals and maximize your potential, those are the individuals who are listening out there who suffer the most. When we fall short of our own expectations, Jermaine, we begin to suffer with our confidence because we feel that we have failed, okay? And so I want to encourage our listeners to know that our failures teaches us much more than our successes ever will.
Absolutely.
And see, when our confidence is at stake, what we typically do, we have to remember that our expectations lead our emotions. And so when what we expect doesn't happen, our confidence in our abilities or our capabilities suffer.
Right.
Okay? And so we're talking about kingdom principles, and how do we make that practical? The definition of confidence is the state of feeling certain about the truth of something. So therefore, for believers, we know that our truth doesn't lie in our ability. Our truth lies in the one who is all capable. Okay? And so we have to remember not to put our confidence in our capability, but in God's supernatural ability. Okay? And so everybody says, well, that's good, Dr. Kimberly, that's all biblical, but what about those practical things? What this tells me is when we put our ability in the Word of God, it says that he who begins a good work in us will complete it, Jermaine, until the very end. So that means no matter if we miss the mark at work, no matter if we miss the deadline, or even if we're in a meeting and we're misunderstood, God will continue to fill the gap for us in spite of our mess. So while listeners, there is no, again, going forward, no way that we should allow an event to affect our confidence in what we've been chosen and called to do in the workplace. And so I want to challenge the language of those who are listening on today. We have to begin to take inventory of what events drive that emotion that tries to steal our confidence. So I want us to challenge our language to say that we had a confidence event. That means there's something that has taken place with an unmet expectation or an event that came to try to steal or comes to try to steal our confidence. So I always want to be transparent in the last few minutes I have here. Last week, Jermaine, let me tell you, I experienced a confidence event in the workplace. And when I say that, I mean, it was a turn of events for me. I didn't feel confident. I was leading a meeting and with the team, and I wasn't very proud of the outcome. And so I didn't feel that I had gotten my intended message across. I don't know if you've ever went in with an expectation that you're going to have one outcome, but you walked away with another.
Right.
And so I felt inadequate. I felt ineffective. And ultimately what I did, Jermaine, I started to question my skill, my expertise. I started to question myself, and then I began to question my whole 16-year career of education, experience, knowledge, my blood and sweat equity, and my tears. Here's the deal. We will allow one event to question our whole career. I was put in one event with 16 years on the line. I began to go to war with my truth and my experience. And so what I want to share with you all, wow, listeners, the Word of God tells us in Jeremiah 17:7, but blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. So we need to shift our confidence from that event and shift our confidence from that particular project or that outcome and shift our confidence in the one who gives us the full outcome of our capability and abilities. And so I'm going to give you some practical steps, Jermaine, because as believers, we have to guard our heart. We have to guard our emotions and our confidence. Right. And we cannot allow the events of that happen during the workday to affect our whole career. I mean, it happens. We have to face it, but we have to move forward. So here's some practical things, wow, listeners, that you can write down if you have your notepad, if you're driving. Again, you can listen to it on drkimberlyellison.com. But here it is. One thing you want to know, once we failed or we have a confidence event, number one, do it again, but do it better this time and keep taking the risk.
Right.
Number two, Jermaine, increase your credit line. Give yourself small wins and count them as victories. Therefore, when you have a confidence event, you can go back and look at the small victories and pull from your credit line. Number three, keep it all in perspective. Think about it. Your greatest victory, your greatest moment doesn't define you, and neither does your weakest moment define you.
Right.
Like the greatest thing that you do is not because of yourself and your ability, so the weakest thing is not either. So we got to keep it all in perspective. Number four, stop comparing to compete.
That's good.
And so when we stop comparing ourselves to others, again, we could go in at somebody else's final chapter, but we're going in on our chapter 1. And so we have to understand that we have to stop comparing ourselves and trying to compete with others. And the last and final practical step that I encourage and admonish all of our WOW listeners to do is get the lesson.
Right.
Fail forward, fail fast, but get up. That's all I have for WOW on tonight, Jermaine. I hope that our WOW listeners have been blessed. I've been loving the feedback. But let me tell you, take it back. Get your confidence back and reclaim it in the workplace.
Right. Well, thank you, Dr. Kim. Those are definitely winning principles and strategies, and we definitely appreciate you so much. So go ahead and share with the KHVN family that may want to hear more, see more, get more from Dr. Kimberly Ellison.
Oh, my goodness. Listen, WOW listeners, go to Facebook at Dr. Kimberly Ellison and Instagram at Dr. Kimberly Ellison. I would love to connect with you, but if you would want to keep up with some of the things that we're doing and some of the engagements and get those products, go to drkimberlyellison.com. That's drkimberlyellison.com. I enjoy hearing from you all. And again, I'm always online and I'm looking at what you all are writing and sending in. So keep it coming. I love to hear from you again, and we'll talk right here next week.
All right, we will indeed, Dr. Kim. Thanks again for helping us win on Wednesday.
Indeed, Jermaine.
All right, have a great evening. All right, y'all, that was the one and only Dr. Kimberly Ellison right here on the evening show. I'm Jermaine Simpson, your host. We'll be back with more great gospel music after this brief commercial break on Heaven 97 KHVN.